This is the center of spreading the DvarMalchus Sichos talk of the Rebbe MHM Shlita on audio, in YouTube and on CDs. These DvarMalchus Sichos of the Rebbe, the leader of our generation, are holy talks that the Rebbe MHM Shlita gave on 5751 and 5752. The Shliach to Chicago, Rabbi Tורין, is translating those holy talks and explaining them in English. For more information, write to RebbeDvarMalchus@gmail.com. Thank you.
In the Shicha of Ki Tavo, Tinase 5751, the Rebbe MHM Shlita presents a question at first that seemingly it isn't understood why the Parsha starts off with a very specific particular mitzvah, namely the mitzvah of Bikurim, of bringing the first fruits to the Beis HaMikdash, and that is a mitzvah at the beginning of the Parsha, that when you come to the land, so you are to bring the fruit from the Shivas Haminim, the 7 species, and bring it to the Beis HaMikdash. But then the Parsha goes on after it speaks about this mitzvah, and mainly the entire Parsha is speaking in general terms about the bris, the covenant that is being made with the Jewish people about keeping the entire Torah and all of the mitzvahs, and from here on, that's pretty much the theme of the rest of Chumash Devarim in the next Parshiyos. So how does it fit that such a general Parsha with such a general theme of accepting all of Torah and mitzvahs starts off with a very particular mitzvah, which seems to be a very specific mitzvah about Bikurim? And basically, the Rebbe MHM Shlita explains as follows. The mitzvah of Bikurim, of course, is to show gratitude to Hashem for all the wonderful miracles that He did, as there is the Mikra Bikurim, the declaration made when you bring the Bikurim. And you're thanking Hashem for taking us out of Mitzrayim and for bringing us to this wonderful, wonderful land, which has such great fruit and such great produce, and we're so thankful, and we have such gratitude to Hashem for everything that He supplies us with. This mitzvah, like many other mitzvahs that we have in association with thanking Hashem, we say brachas all the time. We're constantly saying blessings and benedictions, praising Hashem in this form and the other. We have the mitzvah saseh d'oraisa, the biblical mitzvah, the only biblical mitzvah of actually saying the blessing is birkas hamazon. After a person eats food made out of one of the 5 grains of wheat, barley, etc., so then the person has a chiyuv, obligation, biblically, to say birkas hamazon, to bless Hashem, what we call benchin. And that bracha, we go into lots of details, and we thank Hashem, who sustains us and supports us and gives us all our food, etc., etc. And in general, as we said, we're constantly blessing Hashem. We have our Shemona Esrei that we say several times a day, Moidim Anachnu Lach. We acknowledge and we thank you, Hashem, for all the wonderful things, all the wonders, all the miracles, all the good things, everything. And we express ourselves so many times. But there is a major difference between the mitzvah of Bikurim and all the other mitzvahs and ways of showing gratitude to Hashem. And that is, when it comes to the mitzvah of Bikurim, it's the only type of thanking and gratitude that involves actual deed of taking, of bringing physical fruit to Hashem, to the Beis HaMikdash. And the Rebbe MHM Shlita goes on and explains in detail how the mitzvah of Bikurim actually is not just a very particular, specific mitzvah which is celebrated annually by bringing some fruit to the Beis HaMikdash. But in fact, it really brings out the point that everything that we have, and everything that exists, and the entire world, and everything about the Jew, every single detail of his, and every thought, and every verbalization, every speech, and every act of his, is actually Bikurim L'Hashem. And the Rebbe MHM Shlita brings down the various different psukim to show how actually Bnei Yisrael, the Jewish people, all the Jews, and every single Jew, are the Bikurim of the world, are the first and the choice and the purpose of the world. As we know that Hashem created the world for the Torah and for the Jewish people. Beis Reishis. And actually, the Yidden precede the Torah. The Jews are actually enrooted deeper than the Torah. And he explains that there's the advantage to this way, the advantage to that way, and there is the point that the Torah is actually the ultimate, and the Jewish people are here with the Torah. But in the deepest sense, everything is subservient, and everything is a means to the end. What is the end? Torah and Yisrael, Beis Reishis, that the Jewish people study Torah in this world, and that the Jewish people make this world a dwelling place for Hashem through the Torah. But the rest of the world and everything, including all the spiritual worlds and everything that Hashem created, is all a means to an end. However, Torah itself is in a certain sense also a means for Yisrael. So the Jewish people are the ultimate and the absolute Bikurim. And therefore, a Yid has to know that he has to bring it lifnei Hashem alekecha, to place it before Hashem, everything that he has, every single thing. So it's not only that we're taking and separating, as we do by the tithes, that you give a certain percentage and the rest is yours. So you kashered your food, so to say, by removing that certain amount. Or let's take on a practical level today, even in the time of Golus. So for example, if a person gives a certain percentage to tzedakah, and the rest he's allowed to keep and use in a kosher fashion. No, it goes deeper than that. Even that which you keep, and even that which you have, and even that which you use for your own quote-unquote personal usage, is also Bikurim Lashem. And you have to realize that you're constantly standing in the Beis HaMikdash, because the only true location of a Jew, where a Jew belongs, is in the Beis HaMikdash, Lifnei Hashem Alekecha. And therefore, you are always bringing Bikurim Lifnei Hashem Alekecha. And the Jew is constantly, every single second in time, and every single spatial area, wherever he may be in space, is Bikurim Lifnei Hashem Alekecha, and every thought and everything that he speaks and everything that he does, everything is all Bikurim Lifnei Hashem Alekecha. And this especially is connected with the month of Elul, in which we always read Parshas Ki Tavo, that then every single Yid in a revealed way is expressing his love to Hashem, as the famous mashal of the Alter Rebbe, of the king in the field, that every single individual is able to approach and can approach, has permission and is able to approach the king. And every single Yid has the ability to arouse v'doidi li, that Hashem should reciprocate and should show his love to us. And every single Yid, therefore, has the ability to scream out and to cry out and to yell to Hashem, just as the Mikra Bikurim, the declaration has to be made b'koilam, because it says ve'anisa ve'amarta. So too, out loud, we make the declaration of Admasai, and we are demanding that Hashem take us out of Golus and bring us to the complete redemption through Moshiach Tzidkenu. The directives, lemaise, what we're supposed to do at the end of this Sicha, the Rebbe MHM Shlita is telling us a number of directives. And they are, number one, the tremendous responsibility, how careful we have to be with every single machshava, dibur, u'maaseh, thought, speech, and action. Every single detail of one's conduct has to be befitting and appropriate for the Jew who is standing lifnei Hashem Alekecha. And especially in this very special month, and especially in the last 12 days of this month, because we know that each of the last 12 days from Chai Elul until Rosh Hashanah corresponds to an entire month of the past year and of the upcoming year. Number two, to influence others in a person's surrounding area, that they too should do their avodah of the month of Elul and Slichas in the month of Tishrei in a most complete and perfect way. Number three, and this is a very important primary point, says the Rebbe MHM Shlita, to supply the needs for Yom Tif, for Rosh Hashanah, and for all of Tishrei, for all those that are in need. And number four, to ask and to request, a special request from Hashem during the month of Elul, Ad Masai, until when are you going to keep us in Golus? We already have to have the complete Geula come immediately, since everything was already accomplished. And in the words of the Sicha, that a Jew asks and yells out, he screams to Hashem, Ana, Rachem, Unemt Sheinaris Eden von Golus. Hashem, please have mercy and take the Jews already out of Golus, and bring Shoin the Geula Ha'amitis V'Ashlem Adei Mashiach Tzidkenu, and already bring the true and complete redemption through our righteous Moshiach.